Yeah. Shalom, yo.
Shalom.
Love y'all, Bashim, y'all, Shabbat.
Going on, word.
You know what it is, sir.
That's what it is. I hear that. Shit, we haven't got started yet. We're gonna get started in a little bit.
Uh,
Also, the shock. Yeah, got Babylon to Timbuktu over there, right?
let me look real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Okay. Don't sound correct. All right. So let's go ahead and get it going. What you think about that time?
Anybody in there?
Yeah. You ready?
Come.
All right. Both sound correct. All right, Shalom Israel, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Brakathum, Yahweh Shamar Alatham Bashem Yahushua is priest and officer Dawashab of the Isupk. I got the mighty man with me, priest and officer Nashak out of West Palm Beach, rocking it out. You know what I'm saying? This is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class every Tuesday, 6:30 to 8:30, where we broadcast live every Tuesday here in Orlando. So that's from 6:30 to 8:30, right? So if you're in the Central Florida area, if you're in Kissimmee, Orlando, or any neighboring cities around that area, you can come out to Hart Memorial Library. That's 211 East Stacking Avenue in Kissimmee, Florida, every Tuesday from 6:30 to 8:30, all right? So like I said, it's the Brotherhood class. But if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask your questions. You can go right ahead. If not, I'll jump into my topic. All right. I know we usually do scripture breakdown on Monday, right? But yeah, Feast of Tabernacle, the closing was yesterday night. Most High in Christ. See our brothers rocking it out in the building. You know what I'm saying? Damn right. All right. So I don't see no questions, man. We'll jump into the topic for brotherhood's sake, right? All right. So today's topic, man, it's a controversial conversation going on in the media and the news. And we're going to answer the question whether or not is Kanye West correct about blacks being the Jews.
Mm.
Right? That is a statement that was made. He went on different news outlets and podcasts. I think it first started out with a tweet that he made or something like that. And from there, it just spiraled into a whole media frenzy. Now, he recently just went on a podcast and doubled down on that statement. You know what I'm saying? Unapologetic with it. You know what I'm saying? Speaking about who black people are. Now that ruffled a couple feathers because people is saying what Kanye West is saying is anti-Semitic. All right, they say it's anti-Semitic. First, let's get the definition of Semitic. I want to get into that. So we gonna talk about that, Mac, because if you're gonna bring up the conversation of blacks being Jews, you gotta include the ISUPK. You get what I'm saying? Because we're the home of that conversation. We've been bringing out since 1969 who so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are. You know what I'm saying? And we've been praying, that the Lord will open up the airwaves. That what we teach out in the street corners can reach the masses through the media, through the internet, however possible the Lord seems fit. You know what I'm saying? And it's getting out there to the point where you can't deny it, man. Even your prominent superstars are finding out who the black so-called blacks really are. You know what I'm saying? This information cannot be hidden, man. from the lowest of us and from the highest of us. Now, what we going to discuss today, are we being endorsed by Kanye West? No. Neither do we endorse Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned last week, the brother is very unstable. You know what I'm saying? He'll talk about blacks being the Jews, at the same time he'll say white lives matter. Right? So, we mentioned about what his stance on the white lives matter, which we don't agree with and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna focus on the part where he said the Jews being black. Let's go into that to see if that is just a radical statement. Is it anti-Semitic? Is he just making this up? Is this some old Negro ideology that came off of Negroes being angry at white so-called white people? Let's see what the facts are. You know what I'm saying? So let's get what Semitic is real quick. Let's somebody give me that definition.
I'm trying to find it in the Zondervan. I'm not seeing it in here. I can't look it up on my phone because I'm using my phone.
Right. Yeah, I'm broadcasting from my phone as well. I mean, somebody in the chat, I'm pretty sure you won't find it in the Zondervan Bible because it's a catch to knowing, right? The word Semitic comes from the word Shem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when they consider somebody Shemitic, they mean that those people descend from Shem, right? Which is written of in the Bible, right? Noah had 3 sons. You know what I'm saying? And those 3 sons is what populated the earth, right? It was Japheth, Ham, and Shem, right? You got people who descend from Ham, you got people who descend from Shem, and you got people who descend from Japheth. You know what I'm saying? And the people that descend from Shem is who the so-called Jewish people are making a claim of anti-Semitic. Right. Well, you got any definition on there?
All I got is Shem, sir.
Okay, yeah, let's get that. If you want to, let's get the definition of ham instead. Let's get that. Let's get the definition of ham as well, so we can understand who these sons are. Right.
I have the definition of ham in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, page 213. Ham, the youngest son of Noah.
All right, the youngest son of Noah. Read on.
Born probably about 96 years before the flood.
Before the flood. So he's one of the children of Noah that survived the flood. Right? Because if you are familiar with the Bible, the Lord wiped out everybody on the earth. And there was nobody else left on this earth but Noah and his sons and their wives. Right? Read on.
And one of 8 persons to live through the flood.
Right, only 8. That's it. Read on.
He became the progenitor.
The what?
Of the dark races.
He became the what?
Progenitor. Of the dark races.
Now, what does the word progenitor mean? The word progenitor. The quick definition of that. For time's sake, I'll go ahead and say it if anybody in the chat got it. But just for time's sake, it's too wild. You can still hold your spot in ham if you can for me. Shot. But for time's sake, the word progenitor means the father of. Right? Ham became the father of the so-called dark races. Now, let's examine that, right? Because if you think of dark races today, you will automatically include so-called African Americans, Haitians, Jamaicans, because the color of the skin, right? But here's the thing, though. This, just because somebody has brown skin or dark skin doesn't mean they're all the same, right? In the time of Noah, his three sons was brown skinned as well, too. Noah was brown skinned. Adam was brown skinned. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that you read of in the Bible is brown skinned. You
Right.
get what I'm saying? But Ham became the father of a particular brown skin race out of all the brown skin race that exists today, right? You got that from me, Ward?
So, you want me to keep reading, sir?
Khan, Baba Kashad.
Yes, sir. Come. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes.
But who?
Not the Negroes.
But not the Negroes. Out of all the dark races he became the progenitor of, it excluded one particular group. That should tell you something, right? These Negroes do not descend from Ham, right? This particular dark-skinned people do not descend from Ham, right? Also, Rayala put the definition of progenitor. It says a person or thing from which a person, animal, or plant is descended or originate an ancestor or parent, right? Ham became the originator and the ancestor and the parent of a particular dark race, but not the Negroes, not so-called blacks here in America, not the people that was boarded on those slave ships and sailed across the ocean. They are the only ones that's considered as Negroes, but they're not Ham according to the Bible, right? But let's see who Ham became the father of. Read on.
Come. Not the Negroes. The Egyptians.
But what?
The Egyptians.
Right? The Egyptians, they would be considered Hamitic, right? Because they descend from Ham. Right? Read on.
Come. Ethiopians.
Ethiopians would be Hamitic. Libyans would be Hamitic, right? Read on.
Come. And Canaanites. Is.
That's it?
Come.
Okay. The water warriors. You know what I'm saying? That's who will you be. That's who would you consider Hamitic, because they descend from Ham. Right? Now you have black people, right, who don't descend from Ham and who won't be considered Hamitic, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that black people are actually Semites as well. They are Semitic also. You get what I'm saying? So when Kanye West makes the statement saying, I can't be anti-Semitic because I'm a Semite as well, or I'm a Jew as well, guess what? He is correct. You know what I'm saying? Because Shem had multiple sons. Like I said, those three sons from Noah multiplied and replenished the earth. You know what I'm saying? So you have more than just the Jewish man that comes from Shem. You know what I'm saying? You also have Arabs, right? They also come from Shem. You also have Orientals. They also come from Shem. You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? You also have black people that come from Shem as well, or so-called Negroes, right? The brother put the definition of Semitic, right? It says Semitic relating to or denoting a family of languages that include Hebrew, Amharic, and certain ancient language such as Phoenician and Akkadian, whatever, constituting the main shore group of Afro-Asiatic. Even they will tell you. You get what I'm saying? Like those people that existed from those ancient languages and those ancient cultures was dark skinned as well too. You get what I'm saying? There's not only one particular group that fits in the category of being Semitic. You have multiple groups that fit in that category. You know what I'm saying? We're also black people. You know what I'm saying? We are Semitic as well. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because we descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know what I'm saying? We make up the 12 tribes of Israel. right? And now that is another statement that Kanye West made, right? He said that we are the Israelites, the blood of Christ, the Jews, right? So let's dissect that as well, too, right? So you got two things you have to examine, right? Two things. One, if you can grab me this off in the shot, or anybody in the chat as well. Yeah, I know you're on your phone as well. Somebody in the chat, can grab me this. If you can grab me when the state of Israel was founded and when DNA testing was founded as well, or came to be about. All right, let's if we're gonna dissect, let's dissect this all the way. All right. That statement of us being the Jews is not something that should be abnormal. It's not something that should be so strange to hear. All right. Because don't nobody on earth question whether or not the so-called Jewish man could be a Jew. He makes that claim and goes to war with Palestinians and conquered this earth and rules this earth under the claim of being a Jew. Right. But a black man making that statement, oh, we got to cancel him. It's anti-Semitic. Well, let's dive into that and let's get these 2 points, right? So if anybody gonna make that claim, they need some validity. Something has to validate them or validate that claim of being a Jew, right? Anybody got the information or anything you was able to pull? I know you're on your phone, the shot, but
nah, sir.
Okay. No, sir. Let me see if somebody in the chat can pull that up. Somebody in the chat, pull me up those two things. The state of Israel, right, which is modern Israel today, right? That's governed by President, was it Benjamin Netanyahu or something like that? I think I think he's still president. I think he's I don't know if they switched the presidency yet. Yeah, Officer Rayala, Khan, the state of Israel by what's existing today, by the so-called Jews today, right? Jewish men, right? They got a land that they call Israel today, right? This is the land that they call their home, right? Let's get to see what point in history when that was actually established as their home. You know what I'm saying? Because if you understand anything about world history, you'll know at one point that land was desolate, right? And majority or a good portion of it was inhabited by so-called Palestinians. You know what I'm saying? So let's see when the people who's in that place now was able to establish it. You got it for me, Rory?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, soldier.
May 14th, 1948, at midnight, sir, at midnight on May 14th, 1948, the provisional government of Israel proclaimed a new state of Israel. On that same day, the United States, in the person of President Truman, in the person of President Truman, recognized the provisional Jewish government as the de facto authority of the Jewish state.
Okay, I think that's good right there, Austin the shot. Okay. Unless there's anything else you see that needs to be read. Do you see anything out there, or you think that's good?
That was good, sir.
That was good? All right. Yeah, kind. You know what I'm saying? Also, Rod put the date as well. You know what I'm saying? To water both of y'all brothers. You know what I'm saying? This May 14th is when it was established, right? Because around this time period, this is the time of World War II, right? Where majority of so-called Jews was being persecuted by the Nazi government. All right. You have a thing where they call the Holocaust, right? Right. The Holocaust is where, you know, most Jews were being put in ovens and being exterminated. And then at the end of the World War II, that's when they were able to go into that land, which is called the Middle East today, and have a mass exodus of Jewish people out of certain European countries like Germany, right? They come out of from all these European countries, and they was able to go into the Middle East and establish their own state, you know what I'm saying, as a, you know, retribution of what they experienced in the Holocaust, right? Now, remember that date is in 1948, right? Now, Officer Rayala also put the date for when DNA testing was used for identity purposes, right? It says the discovery in 1953 of the double helix, the twisted ladder structure of DNA by James Watson and Francis Crick, right? In 1953 is when it came about, right? And if you read the information about it, I think it tells you the reason why they came about using DNA. I think it was about a crime that happened or something like that. Nah, kind of. There's no sweat the water war. You know what I'm saying? But it came about, and it was not formed trying to find identity. You know what I'm saying? They discovered this and solving some type of crime, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? They give you the information on it as well. But that was in 1953, right? 1953 years, a couple years after the state of Israel was already established. You know what I'm saying? Meaning you already had Jewish people that established their home on this landmass in 1948, right? A couple years past is when they made it, you know, where they had the discovery of DNA, right? If somebody can give me the date as well when they started using it to find out identities and all of that stuff. There's a reason why I'm asking all of this. If somebody could find that as well. If y'all can walk with me and see where I'm going with it, right? See where I'm going with it, all right? You got the state of Israel, which is modern Israel today, right? That is governed by Jewish people, right? That was established in 1948. All right. Now, you have years after that where DNA was also used in the finding out different identities and your ancestry as well, right? Years after that was made. I mean, after the state of Israel was established, right? Somebody give me the date when they were using it to find out ancestry. Right? Because most people will rely on DNA, right? That's what most people will say. Well, what does DNA say? What about the DNA? What is it, did this and that? We're going to get dabble more into DNA as well, too. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to see what point of validation was used in order to establish the state of Israel. I kind of gave it away anyways, right? All right. If nobody can find this, it's no sweat, but the water, I can find information. All right. For time's sake, I'm gonna, you know, keep it along until whatever information I find, just let me know.
Okay.
All right. All right. It says DNA was discovered in 1869 by Swiss researchers Frederick Metzger, who was originally trying to study the composition of lymphoid cells, white blood cells. See, they used it to study white blood cells. They use it, for forensic crimes, right? All these years they was using it, right? When was it originated from, studying somebody ancestry? All right. I think the brother put the double helix twisted ladder structure DNA, right? 1953. All right. They use it for the study of white blood cells. They use it for forensic studies. If somebody can find me the information of how they used it for ancestry.
I'm not sure what I got here, but I'll go ahead and read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Starting in the 1980s, scientific advances allow the U.S. like the use of DNA as a material for the identification of an individual. The first patent covering the certain use of DNA variations for forensics was filed by Jeffrey Glassberg in 1983, based upon work he had done while at Flocker-Flair University in the United States in 1981.
Okay, so they started, with the studies of this DNA, of using it for ancestries as well, right? Like the brother mentioned, it was a continued study, meaning it was developing from the first use, right? They found out about it. Of course, DNA existed since life formed, right? We all have DNA in us, you know what I'm saying? But the use of it today was not come about until later, till modern times, right? The use of it today, of how they use it to find out your ancestry, they was not doing that 1,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? They was not taking your DNA to find out who you was, right?
Right.
If somebody can give me numbers, what is it? Numbers 2 and 1, or is it numbers 1? Right? It is a developing study, right? You know what I'm saying? But like the brother's reading, and I'm gonna let him finish what he was reading as well. You know what I'm saying? This is something that is fairly new. It's modern research. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Let me get numbers 2 and 1.
The book of Numbers, chapter 2 and verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, every man of the children of Israel shall pitch by his own standard.
By his own standard, meaning the tribe that he comes from, the standard, right? We all had a banner or a standard that represent our tribe, right? And here's Moses getting us organized in the wilderness. So he's having every brother stand with their standard, meaning with the symbol with their tribe, right? The banner with their tribe. Read on.
With the ensign of their father's house.
Of their what?
Father's house.
Right. Our pedigree was determined, of what tribe you were, was determined by your father's house or your father's bloodline. All right. Meaning who you descend from through your father. All right. Why is that? All right. Because men carry what?
If I may.
Go ahead.
Life.
They're right. They carry life. You know what I'm saying? They gotta, they carry what's gonna be determined to be born. You know what I'm saying? The seed comes from the man. You know what I'm saying? And there's life in that seed. Right? If you take a apple seed and plant it in an orange grove, what is gonna grow out of the ground?
Apple, sir.
Right, apple tree, right? Because the plant or the tree is determined not by the ground, but is determined by the seed. So being that man carries the seed, if when she lays into a woman, the woman, all she's doing is fertilizing that seed the same way the ground fertilized that apple seed. You know what I'm saying? But what comes out of it is being determined by that man's seed. You know what I'm saying? So the tribe that is being organized here and being put together and under their standard and under their banners is determined by their father's bloodline or their father's seed. You know what I'm saying? This is how you was determined who you were. All right. Like I mentioned, DNA existed since the creation of life. Right? We all got DNA. But the modern use of it, right? The study of it, of what they're doing with it today, right, came about fairly new, right? If you can finish reading that article you was reading, also Shot, Baba Kashad.
Done. Uh, independently developed Slacken. Urtish Genetics served Alec Jeffries independently developed a process for DNA profiling in 1984 while working in the Department of Genetics at the University of Lexington.
Mm-hmm. So they have this DNA, right? They have this understanding of what it is from the 1800s and on up, right? And it's ongoing to getting more studies of it, more studies of it. They haven't even mastered it, right? Or come up with a good way of using it until around the 1980s. You know what I'm saying? But it was still being put in use around the 50s, 60s, 70s, all that. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't get a good understanding of it until around the 1980s. You know what I'm saying? And that's when he was able to discover it to use it for identifying somebody, right? Meaning based off your DNA, your saliva, your spit, your seed, or whatever you come from, your blood, they use that, you know what I'm saying, which is what they use today to identify somebody genealogy or ancestry, right? Even though it's very flawed because the people that's governing it today, you know what I'm saying, can manipulate DNA and give you false results at their will, right? But the point I'm bringing all of this out is for a reason. Now, remember what I asked when the state of Israel was established, right? Y'all remember that year?
Colonel Khan, 1948.
1948. The DNA was used for profiling in what year?
1984.
1984, right? That's how many years apart? That's a few years apart. We ain't got to do the math right now, but that's a few years apart. Now, with that being said, there was a mass exodus, like I mentioned, out of these European countries to bring Jewish people to a safe ground in their own land. I'm talking about thousands of them. Now, if DNA did not exist as profiling in 1948, what tool or resource did they use to validate who was a Jew or not?
Hmm.
Come on now, think about it. You getting thousands of people from one land to get them to another land, right?
Right.
And you're getting them to this new land because they are Jews and they belong to this land. And you have thousands of them are being persecuted in the land at which they came from. So you have to make sure the people that you're grabbing, of course, is not the one that's doing the persecuting or the perpetrator. You got to make sure you don't grab the wrong one. Right. So you're making sure you grab the right one. So what source of material did they use in order to validate who was a Jew and who was not a Jew?
Like, sir.
Go ahead.
I can't answer that. I don't know.
let's see if we can probably let's see what the so-called Jewish man was using. You know what I'm saying? Isupk said in 1985, Salakia was when it 1985 Salakia was when it was used in court for the first time. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even, fully understand the true studies of it until the 80s. Right? It wasn't used in court and in their law system and used all throughout, America to find out ancestry until some around the 80s. Right? That should tell you something. Not only is it bogus and it could be manipulated and flawed in research, but it should also tell you that it is useless when it came to establishing the state of Israel. You get what I'm saying? Because in 1948, they wasn't doing no blood tests.
Right.
Right? They wasn't, waiting in the gas chamber waiting for the results to come back to tell them if they are true or not, so that they can go to. They wasn't doing. If they waited too long enough, they would have got, they would have died in that chamber. You know what I'm saying? So they wasn't waiting on that, right? They established it in 1948. Now, that's before you had an identity, black man. That's before you was called what they call African American today. They didn't even have a name for you. That was before you had your own language, your own history, your own culture. Nobody went out of their way to make sure that you got a landmass for your own while you was being persecuted.
Right.
Nobody said, wait, who are these people so we can give them their own land?
Right.
Everybody jumped to their aid during World War II to give them their own land without even validating it, man, or properly validating it. They just took it for face value, right? Yeah. And then now today in 2022, when we make the claim, what they ask for, what's the DNA say? What your DNA say? What your DNA say? What did you go to ancestry.com? Are you? What is your DNA? That's what they ask you for. They make up all type of excuses when you say it, but for them, is no problem. You was gonna say something else in the shot?
Oh no, sir. I mean, nah, you got it on that. I mean, like it's just so heavy. You know what I mean? Like when we, like you saying, when we want to like validate who we are, listen, all we have to do is read the history book, okay? The one and only true history book, and it validates who we are. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, brother.
Come.
Damn right, get a brother ahead. Because that is exactly where we're gonna go to. We're gonna go to the same tool that was used in 1948 to validate them to be a Jew. We're gonna go to that same thing to see what does it really say about the Jews today. Let's see if it's really proven if they are the Jews or if we are the Jews. Because think about it, it's 2022, right? You got grown men calling themselves women. You got women that's calling themselves men. You know what I'm saying? Right. And, people want to be called by their pronouns. They want to be called they, them, and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But nobody takes offense, you know what I'm saying, when they want to do that. But as soon as we decide to take on an identity that we can relate to, you know what I'm saying, that's come from our ancestors, you know what I'm saying, they have a problem with it. They have an offense to it. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's go into the same tool that the Jewish man holds till this day to see what it says about the Jews, man. Go ahead, soldier.
What you said is so heavy because, like you said, a man wants to be a woman and a woman wants to be a man. Mm-hmm. What does the DNA say?
Right, exactly. When they dig up your bones 1,000 years from today, they ain't gonna be like, well, it was a they. You know what I'm saying? The DNA on that bone is gonna tell them exactly who you was.
Oh God.
The water, both sides correct. What the DNA say? You know what I'm saying? Your DNA will tell you is a man. You know what I'm saying? If you are a man. You is a woman if you is a woman. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff you make up is all up in your head, man.
Right.
And it's very hypocritical of America to give us pushback for making the claim of who we are. But they're willing to accept 9-year-old boys calling themselves women.
Right.
Come on now. You know what I'm saying? You think I'm gonna trust some oppressor on who I'm supposed to be? Listen, I am who the hell I say I am. I could give a damn what oppressor said. You know what I'm saying? I need his information to tell me who I am, his DNA. I say I'm a Jew, but guess what? That goddamn it, I'm a Jew. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because I say I am. But
Right.
since for the
Why can't I be
non-believers
called?
out, go ahead. So my bad.
Why can't we be called by our own pronouns? I want to be
Right,
called.
right, exactly.
What's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you right. You right on it, man. You right on it, sir. Most high,
Yeah.
you right on it.
Most High in Christ, warrior. Most High in Christ. Let me read some of these comments these brothers are putting in here in the chat. Officer Yawasap said, personalized DNA testing of ancestry just became a large public thing in 2017. Good night. So they, like the officer Rod said, it was continued study. So even from the 1980s, they still ain't perfected. They still have to continue on with the studies all the way until 2017. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Officer Rayala says before DNA, who you was determined by your father's bloodline. Damn right. You know what I'm saying? This is how the heathen determined who was to be next on their throne. Khan. You know what I'm saying? They kept it in the family. You know what I'm saying? You already knew who you were based on who you was birthed from. You know what I'm saying? Or who your father was. You didn't need a DNA test. You knew that's my dad. This is where I come from. This is my tribe. This is my nation. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing still goes on today, right? Also, Yawasap said the main development were for crime, health issues, paternities, and health issues according to the scholastic site DNA Fit. Con, you know what I'm saying? And that's a con, damn right, you know what I'm saying? This is something that we should consider in our mind. We should think about, man. Shalom, what's going on, Trooper Canuck?
Hey, Shalom Yahabashim Shrap Thumb.
Old sign Christ. And right, good to have you on, Warrior. Good to have you on. Right?
Good to be with you, brothers. Good to be with the Adawanya.
Most High in Christ, Most High in Christ. So we're gonna continue on with the topic, right? What Kanye West is it? What is he saying about blacks being a Jew? Is it a lie? So let's start at Jeremiah 14:2. Let's start there. All right. So black people are Semitic, right? So let's see what lineage of Shemites do they come from?
I got it, sir. The book of Jeremiah, 14, verse 2. Judah mourning.
What? The Bible says what?
Judah mourning.
Now, the word Jew is short for Judah. Right? This is where you get the word Jew from. Right? The same way today. If you know somebody named Matthew, you're going to probably call him Matt. Right? You know somebody named Jonathan, you call him John. You get what I'm saying? It's just abbreviated version of their name. Right? So Jew is an abbreviated version of Judah. Right? It says Judah mourning. All right. So the real Jews are in the state of mourning.
Right.
Now let's examine something else that Kanye West said. He also said that they own NBA teams, Hollywood, banks, diamond districts, and all sorts of things that they, take ownership of. Let's see if there's any validity to that, right? If somebody can pull me up the owner of the NBA and where he come from.
If I may, sir.
Go ahead, Soda.
I watched this. I was watching this documentary on, the so-called Jewish man when he was getting persecuted by the Germans, right? And one of the main reasons why the Germans was killing them and started killing them is because the Jews were having like most of the businesses and stuff. They started to take over in Germany, and the Germans didn't like that job, so they started, you know what I mean. They started killing them. You know what I'm saying? Hitler was like, man, this is, you know what I mean. Like they taking over. So the whole thing, not besides the point that Hitler wanted to create this dominant race or whatever, but still, they said the Germans, what they was having all the businesses and this, that, and the third, and all kinds of stuff. They was taking over.
You're right, Khan. That is true. You know what I'm saying? A portion of the reason why he did what he did is for self-preservation. You know what I'm saying? That's a portion, of course, like Austin the Shock said. Of course, he was out of his mind and out of his rocker and wanted to establish some perfect Assyrian race, you know what I'm saying, on the earth. But a portion of the reason why he did what he did is because self-preservation. Those people was stealing all the resources and taking advantage of the Germans. You know what I'm saying? And this is why he did what he did, right? And after that, they seen the so-called Jews being persecuted, so they established a place called Israel, or the state of Israel that we know of today. And when they established it, man, there was no DNA testing, no question about it, no ifs and buts about it, none of that. They seen those Jewish babies and Jewish moms and Jewish children going in gas chambers. They say, you know what? Got to get them out of here. Regardless of what they, background is, they say they're the Jews. Let's get them out of here and put them in the state of Israel. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's go ahead and dissect all of that to find out who the Jews really are. You know what I'm saying?
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead, soldier.
If I may,
Mm-hmm.
they started trying to do that way back in 1917 after the First World War. It's a thing that's called the Balfour Declaration and the rights of the Jewish national homeland. And if I may, I just want to read what it says, how they obtained the land of Palestine. It's kind of like a receipt.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, this is written by one of the Jewish, I guess one of the Jewish leaders to Laura Rothschild. Know who the Rothschilds are?
Khan, yeah.
So like,
One
so
of the
it says,
top Khan.
oh yeah, no, go ahead, sir. So like, what did you say?
Nah, I was gonna just say the one of the top Jewish families that exist today. Khan.
Kind of okay, sir. It says, dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist as- aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object. It being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may produce the civil, I mean, delay, produce the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine. So what they're saying is everybody that's non-Jews that living in Palestine got to get the hell up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Or the right and political status enjoyed by the Jews in any other country.
Mm.
I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. Salakia.
Good night. What?
1917. So way before
1917.
1948, they was already trying to get the land of Palestine
You see that?
after World War One.
God, that's heavy, brother. That's heavy. And listen, ain't nobody said, hold on, prove it. Ain't nobody said, hold on now, stop right there. You gonna have to prove to me that you belong in that land and call it Israel. Nobody said that to them, right? Ain't nobody came up to them and questioned whether or not their DNA results point them to being the original or the descendants of the people of that land. Ain't nobody questioned that. Ain't nobody bat an eye, and nobody said nothing. Nobody's nothing. You know what I'm saying? They made it their obligation to establish these people who they are today. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna prove in the Bible that all of that was put together through a lie, man. You know what I'm saying? The real Jews are black and they're always going to be black. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much you try to twist and turn and play mind games with our people and say prove this and want to prove that and want to throw DNA in our face, you know what I'm saying? All of that is not important when it comes to the word of God. That is the only tool anybody use to make a claim as far as to say that they're chosen. Right? Whenever somebody want to say they're the chosen people, or God chose them, or Muhammad this, or God is with the Arabs, or God is with the Jewish people, or God was that, they only point to the Bible. This is the one tool that everybody on this earth have used, you know what I'm saying, and being rulers and conquering this earth. You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? We're going to take that same tool and read and see what's in it for us. What does it say about black people in the Bible? Right? If everybody else can use it, why can't we use it? If everybody else can make the claim, why can't we make the claim? We're gonna dig into the Bible and see what it says. You found that for me else in the shot? Who runs the NBA or the commissioner?
The commissioner does not own the NBA.
Okay, who's the owner of the NBA today?
Okay, so it says that the teams, there's the team owners, there's individual owners for each team,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a few of them that they're called governors,
Okay.
and then those few choose who the commissioner of the NBA is going to be.
Okay. Is there any names on there? They got any names that you think will seem fit to bring up? Just any random name. I'm sure it's Jewish. I'm sure it's a Jewish name.
I'm not seeing the name, sir.
Okay, no sweat. You know what I'm saying? No sweat, no sweat. For time's sake, we'll continue on. You know what I'm saying? But in your own research, do some research. Find out these things, right? Find out who owns these things, right? Like I remember, I think it was yesterday, Commander Jenniana brought it out. You know what I'm saying? The NFL players and the NBA players, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones that's busting their behind, twisting their ankles, trying to dunk a hoop to get a couple millions. Meanwhile, the owners is making billions of dollars off of your blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Billions. I'm talking about with a B, multiple billions, man. All just to be an owner of a team. Off of the fans and the tickets and the merchandise. Meanwhile, you the one doing all the running and all the exercising and risking your body and getting possible life-threatening injuries. You know what I'm saying? And you get a couple millions, and you think that's satisfying. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, these people don't do nothing, and they run the whole damn show. They cut who they want to cut, trade who they want to trade. You know what I'm saying? They do all these things, man. Right? Not only just the sports arena. Guess what? The music industry as well. Who you think runs that? You know what I'm saying? If you watch the interview, one of the owners walked in while Kanye West was speaking. You know what I'm saying? One of those music executives walked in, you know what I'm saying, kissing his behind and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, walked in during the interview. Meanwhile, he owns the record labels.
Right.
Making millions off of black people talking about how they kill each other or how they sell dope to one another. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because the Bible just said that the real Jews are in mourning. If you owning a basketball team and getting billions, you're not in mourning. If you owning record labels and getting billions, they're not in mourning. If you owning banks and you owning Hollywood and you owning diamonds, you're not in mourning, man. You know what I'm saying? But the real Jews are. You know what I'm saying? We are in the state of mourning. You know why? Because we don't own none of these things. We don't even own the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? Big up to these rappers that's trying to buy back the block. Go ahead, Soldier. My bad.
No, I was just thinking, like, when you said that, like, that's what I think that every day as I drive through the neighborhood that I live in to go, you know, come in and out of the neighborhood to go wherever I got to go. And I look around and I'm like, this neighborhood is full of black people. Like the whole neighborhood is black. And nobody owns any other property. Like a whole neighborhood. Could you imagine, like, you know, it's got to be, you know, like 5 square blocks or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, 5 square miles or whatever. And everybody that's in there, nobody owns any other property. They're all renters. They're all, you know what I mean? They're all consumers of the, you know, it's just, and it blows, you know, it's like, we don't understand, like, this has to be a curse.
God.
You know what I mean? Like, this, why is this happening? Like you bring it out, sir, you know, nobody is getting it in their mind, questioning why is this happening? What is going on? You know what I mean? Like, why are we in this condition? Why am I, you know, why for 400, 500 years are we in the same condition? Like nothing, you know what I mean? Like you say, okay, one ball player, one Uncle Tom, you know, got some money. You know, I'm not saying all ball players are Uncle Tom, but you know what I mean? Like even those ball players, I was thinking about that when you were saying it earlier, they end up poor. The football players, the basketball players, years later, after they out of the NBA, even the rappers. I just saw this rapper. They had a video of him. Rich young boy Rich or something like that.
I know you're talking about Rich Boy.
Yeah, and I saw that. It hurt my heart. It hurt my heart to see him. You know what I mean? Like he was a rapper. You know, he was flossing. He had the Cadillac. Put some D's on it, you know what I mean? Like, when you see it today, it hurts your heart. Yeah, you know, our condition, and it's because what you know what I mean. Like, what the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has the answer, and you know it's right here in this history book, and it says in Deuteronomy that we will not be able to get away from these curses no matter where we go. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're dealing with. And like you said, sir, that's what we're trying to, you know, wake our brothers and sisters up to and get them to understand. And, you know, big up to you, sir, for, you know, being in this truth and holding it down way before I even got here. You know what I mean? Like, I come every day and wake up every day and strive to be like you and all the men that came, you know, before me.
Barakatah way I was shot, man. Commander Jenny Yohana, Captain Shawar, Officer Rakavia, Officer Kazal, you know what I'm saying? All these brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't nothing. And this information is something that's needed for our nation to understand in these last days, man. You know what I'm saying? Identity is everything on this earth.
Yes, sir.
It's that valuable. Identity is everything on this earth. Everything on this earth is based upon your race. Don't let nobody ever tell you that it's not about race. That's what they love to push out there today. It's not about race. It's not about color. We all bleed red. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody really believe that. Right. Everybody just pushing that so you don't feel no type of strength about yourself from wanting an identity. Right? So they push that lie to you. But meanwhile, they take pride in who they are. Right? Somebody from Scotland is Scottish to the bone. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's British, they're British. You get what I'm saying? They're Irish. You know, they wear the green leprechaun and drink the thing and, you know, drink their beer. They proud to be Irish. You get what I'm saying? They take pride in who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand with their identity, they can empower themselves to do something on this earth, right? To have a purpose on this earth that's besides themselves. You get what I'm saying?
You're right. If I may, like, over in Asia, you know, all the you know, Chinese and Japanese and all those different, they look alike, but they're different. And they get offended. Like they want to be, you know, like the Chinese man does not want to be called a Korean. You know what I mean? Right. Like Japanese man does not want to be called, you know, what he's not. And it's like we're the only people on the earth that will be called whatever our you know, oppressor tells us our name is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
God, damn right, Soda. Damn right, man.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead, soldier.
Just to iterate, the commissioner, Adam
Mm-hmm.
Silver, and the former commissioner, David Stern, are both Jewish.
Sitting on billies, billions, probably trillions. I don't know. They got money, man. Money. And what you think they're gonna do with it? They're gonna just spend it all in one lifetime? They can't spend it all in one lifetime. That money is not gonna be passed down to your children,
Right.
to your family. They're gonna make sure Dave's children is straight. So overall, it's not an individual Jew that's benefiting from it. It's a whole collective of Jews that's benefiting from it. So when Kanye West make these statements, he's not lying in these statements. Their success is all of their success, i.e. the state of Israel. This is how they was able to establish it. They took up thousands of them and brought them over here to that land, man. You know what I'm saying? When that land does not belong to them, man. What proof do they have? You know what I'm saying? What validity that proves them to be on that land? What validates them? Everybody want a Negro to prove that he's a Jew. Well, ask them to prove it then.
Right.
Let's put both records together and let's see who will come out on top.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's all but a lie, man. Officer Rayala said, Mikey Arson, born June 29th, 1949, is a Israeli-American billionaire businessman. Arsani is also the owner of the NBA Miami Heat. Salaki, if I'm saying his name wrong. You know what I'm saying? But he is a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? These are the people that run the world. Run the known world, the entertainment that you see, the banks that you go to, they run these things. They even have their own land where they can practice what they want to practice on that land. That's not mourning.
Right.
That is not mourning. You know what I'm saying? Give a Negro that. We'll be in rejoice. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's out there pleading for us or pleading for a mass exodus for us. Nobody's doing that for us. Nobody's saying, let's get these Negroes who's getting persecuted, who's went through the true Holocaust. Let's get them their own land. Nobody's doing that. Because everybody wants you to prove who you are. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's see what the Bible says about who we are. Read on. Oh, my bad. Jeremiah 14:2. My bad.
Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish.
The what?
Languish.
The gates thereof languish. The word language means weak. You know what I'm saying? The gates is representing the leaders, right? The brother Trooper Canuck just read an article how they was making the declarations to one of their leaders to help them establish the state of Israel. You know why? Because their gates do not languish. Their leaders are not weak. They make sure they get them billions of dollars and spend it in their community. Spending dollars and making sure that the families are straight.
That's right.
They get billions of dollars in weaponry from the U.S. They got a whole Iron Dome, right? That can infiltrate missiles to make sure that no missiles or any attacks happen on their land. Meanwhile, you can't even walk down the street without a cop pulling you over.
Right. Right.
You get what I'm saying? They got a whole protection from missiles, but you ain't got no protection from the oppressor pulling you over and beating you across the head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no protection because your gates language. Your leaders are weak, man. Because they're not telling you who you are. They're not giving you your identity, man. This is why we walk around vain on this earth. All we care about is cars, clothes, and hoes. That's all a nigga knows. That's all we care about. How fresh we was, who we can stun on. It's getting a bunch of money and just making sure we keep it to ourselves because the other niggas be hating and all that stuff. That's all we worry about. It's vain. You know why? Because we live in a life without purpose, man.
Right.
Because we don't know and understand that there is things on this earth that's far greater than your own gratification, man.
Right.
And that's talking about a nation. If you understand that you have to fight for something greater than yourself, that can provide you a greater purpose than just cars, clothes, and hoes, man.
Right.
But your leaders are so weak, they ain't willing to give you that, man. You know why? Because they're comfortable with their cars. They're comfortable with their chains, their money, their riches. They're comfortable with that.
If
You know
I
what I'm
may,
saying? Go ahead, soldier.
oh man, that's heavy what you just said. Because like, as soon when you said it, you know, the leaders are happy because they're happy because that's all they want is cars. Like, what else? They're gonna look at they leading you, and they're like, wait a minute, you want more than what I want?
Right.
You want more than what I want? And that's why the true leader is Commanding General Yohana, sir.
Damn right, man. Damn right, man. You know what I'm saying? That is the leader of this nation, man. You know what I'm saying? Pushing this truth. Has not dropped his sword regardless of any adversity. They've been canceled us. We've been canceled. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We ain't on none of your interviews. We don't go on none of your podcasts. None. Y'all don't invite us nowhere. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But all because we teach this truth, man. And we ain't gonna never stop teaching the truth on who we are. Meanwhile, your leaders are afraid, man, because they don't want to lose out on a crumb that an oppressor gives them, man.
Right.
You know why? Because the scripture that we reading only fits one people on this earth. It doesn't fit the Jewish man, right? Read on.
Come. They are black.
Whoa, hold on, the shock, man. You sound a little anti-Semitic over there, man. What you say? What you reading out of? That's the Bible, or you wrote that down? You sure that's the Bible?
Yes, sir.
That ain't the Bible. You can read that one more time. Maybe you got it confused. Read it one more time.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black.
They are what?
They are black.
The real Jews are what?
They are black.
Read on.
Unto the ground.
The Bible just made a statement that's truer than anything on this earth. If you're going to believe in something, make sure you believe in this and what we bringing out, man. Believe that you are the real Jews, man. That you are the chosen people of God. And if you descend from the so-called African Americans or so-called Haitians or so-called Dominicans or Puerto Ricans and Mexicans, if you descend from the 12 tribes of Israel, you know what I'm saying, and who our oppressor label us today, just know that you are the real Jew and you are the Israelites because the Bible told you who you was. You don't have to run to your oppressor for DNA. You don't have to run to your oppressor to find out if he got the information for you. The Bible just told you who you was, man. It said that the real Jews are black, man, unto the ground. Now, what does it mean when it says unto the ground? What does that mean?
Come on, sir.
Go ahead.
That's, you know what I mean? Like, that's saying, you know what I mean? Like, we are all 12 tribes. We're diverse tribe. We're diverse people. We are different shades of brown. We are different shades of black, you know, whatever you want to call it. We're not just like, I don't know the scripture, but it says we're like a speckled bird. Like, we are different shades and hue. We're not like the Caucasian race, just one red, everybody red. You know what I mean? You know, so that's
God, damn right, exactly right. So you know what I'm saying? When you dig up into the earth, you're gonna find different shades of brown. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at what they call the phenotype or the skin texture of the so-called Jewish man today, you do not fit the description that we just read about right now. You know what I'm saying? And furthermore, you have black Jews over there in Israel right now, right? Somebody pull me up the article of what they did to the people in Dimona, Israel. How they did a mass deportation over there. Just type in Dimona, Israel deportation or evacuation, something like that. You know what I'm saying? You have black people out there in Israel. You know what I'm saying? And it's very intolerant for somebody to say what is just an ideology. You know what I'm saying? That is something that's insulting to say. It's just an ideology. When you have generations that live, that's on that land right now, that live there throughout their generations as black people. You know what I'm saying? Still living as a Jew. Not by ideology, but by their bloodline, man, from generations, man. And for you to undermine them just because they don't fit the description of what you think a Jew to be, you know what I'm saying? You try to, devalue or dismiss their claim to being a Jew. You know what I'm saying? And so much so, we're going to read about the article, what they did to them. You know what I'm saying? You have people, generations, who never even seen anything outside of that land. Lived in Israel all their life, born there, grew old there. And now they're getting forced out of there, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't want them to be on that land. They don't want us to find out who we are. Now, of course, it's not our time to go there. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we're going to wait until our king is there, and we ain't sharing nothing with our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? But that should tell you something. That we're not doing no discriminating against nobody. They're doing the discriminating against us, man. Nobody's holding them accountable, man. That is anti-Semitic. Nobody's calling them out for that. All right, they want us to call each other out when we do wrong. They want to get people like Candace Owens and Charleston White to speak about the wrong that's going on in our communities. You know what I'm saying? But where's the Jewish people that's speaking about the wrong that's going on in the Jewish community? How come they ain't standing up and speaking about the mass deportation that they're doing to their own brothers on that land? But yet they won't do it because they're all hypocrites, man. It all comes down to you, black man. They want to make sure that you don't find out your identity, man. That's all it is. You got that for me, Warrior?
Slacky, sir.
Come on, go ahead, Soda.
Slacky, sir. If Officer Nashad had it, he could read it. I just got a piece of an article talking about it.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind, Nashad, I'll let the trooper go.
Yeah, I got something right here, sir. I'm not sure, how good it is, but
okay.
It says Jerusalem AP dozens of members of a polygamous vegan sect in Israel have received deportation orders from the government.
And if I may, Officer Nashad, if I can pause you there real quick, you see how they headline it though? Like this is the trick that the media, the Jewish media does. Right? You see how they label them a polygamous vegan group. Right. Like they do stuff like that on purpose.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Right. To just to bring their value down. That's why they do stuff like that. Like they're just a bunch of vegetable eating, multiple wives having Negroes over there on that land. That's all they are. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then they do that on purpose, man. Continue. My bad, boy.
No, you're right, sir. You have to. I'm glad you brought it out. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely what they do to us. So, dozens of members of a what does that say?
So is it promiscuous?
No. Okay, vegan set of Israel have received deportation orders from the government. The group's spokesman said Monday, despite much of the community having received permanent residency under arrangement with Israel, the community, which numbered around 3,000 people, is comprised of Black Americans who founders moved to Israel in the 60s and believe they are descendants of an ancient Israelite tribe.
Now, ain't that hypocritical? Isn't that the
Right.
same thing they did during World War
Right.
II? That's the same thing they did.
Shalom Khan.
Go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
Slack, sir.
That was it.
No, law, and believe they are descendants of ancient Israelite tribe. Most live in the southern desert town of Dimona. Prince Emma Emmanuel Ben Yahuda speaks of the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem and said that interior ministry had given notice to at least 46 families that they must leave the country within 60 days, calling it a shock to the system.
Good night.
The African Hebrew Israelites began arriving in 1969, following Ben Carter, a Chicago steelworker who renamed himself Ben Amai Ben Israel and claimed to be God's representative on earth.
Now, of course, they didn't got the full truth. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they ain't got the truth, and they don't really know because the ISUPK is the home of the truth. You know what I'm saying? But the point we bringing this out is so you can see the discrimination. You know what I'm saying? So you can understand the hypocrisy of this earth. Right? They are totally and solely against you being a Jew, but they have no problem with the European man calling himself a Jew. You know what I'm saying? These people been there for generations.
Right.
Grew up there.
Right.
Made a living there. And then they gonna have to decide where they gonna live at after all these years of being there, man. They forcing those people out. But meanwhile, I thought if you was a Jew, you can be there, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
All you had to do was say you're a Jew.
Right. That's all you got to do. That's what they did, right? You know what I'm saying? Our people went over there fleeting persecution, you know what I'm saying, without the proper understanding that we shouldn't have not done that, but still they did that, trying to flee persecution, all to go there to get even more persecuted and oppressed, man. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because you are the real Jew, and they don't want you to find that out. The real Jews are black unto the ground, right? Any more in the Jeremiah 14:2?
Come. Jeremiah 14:2. Judah's mourning, and the gates thereof language. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up.
Right. The cry of Jerusalem has gone up, man. We are crying out to the Lord that he restores this nation, man. That he restores us back to who we supposed to be, man. Black is just a color. It's not an identity. You know what I'm saying? African American is not an identity. You cannot be from two continents that has over 50 countries. So which one do you come from? Who are you? Who is your blood descendants? You know what I'm saying? And we ask this question all the time in camp. You know what I'm saying? We ask this often. So much so, I'm sure brothers get tired of asking this question. But yet nobody's able to answer this question. Who was black people prior to slavery? If anybody on the chat can answer that question. Of course, I'm sure y'all can answer it because y'all in the class. But if you're not familiar with what we teach, you know what I'm saying? If you got the knowledge and the understanding and the scholarship, show me who we were prior to slavery, man. 9 times out of 10, guess what? Nobody can answer that for you. But we gonna get the history on who he was. This book that we're reading out of, this Bible, is a history book. And it's the history of so-called black people, man. Right. This is who he was. And it has nothing to do with the European man, the German man, the Scottish, the Slovakian, the Russian, wherever these Jewish people coming from. It has nothing to do with them. Right? Let's get Deuteronomy 28:68.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with
with ships. This is the Holocaust we're reading about. This is it. With ships, right? The word Egypt is synonymous with bondage. That's what it's talking about. And the Lord said he's going to bring the children of Israel, if they didn't obey his commandments, into bondage again. Again is talking about a second time, right? The first time when they went into Egypt, they walked over there, 70 souls.
Right.
Because if you look on a map, that those land masses are connected. You don't need a ship to get from Israel to Egypt. But this time, the Lord is saying, guess what? I'm going to bring you to Egypt again. But this time is going to be with ships. So that should let you know it's talking about bondage. Now, let me ask y'all. When one point in history, any time in history, where this fits so-called Jewish man? Anytime. Can anybody tell me? Where in history has this happened? Has he ever been on a ship?
Right.
Has anybody ever packed them up and put them on the ship to be in bondage? Nobody has, man. This is only talking about you, black man. You fit the description. All right? Don't let a oppressor like to say that. He fits the description. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You the usual suspect. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? This is the description that's going to tell you who you are, man. All fingers is pointing to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? Read on.
And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto you. Thou shalt see it no more again.
Now, also Moses said, when you get put in these ships to be brought to bondage, the land that I told you, that I promised unto you, that I was going to give unto you from these in the wilderness, after the wilderness, and bring unto you after these 40 years, guess what? You ain't going to see it no more again. You ain't going to see it no more again. And I asked the question, who black people were prior to slavery? Don't nobody know. You know what I'm saying? Because the Bible prophesied that you would lose your identity, man. That nobody would know who the real Jews are. In 2022, people still don't know who they are. It takes people like Kanye West for people to stop and listen. But guess what? Since 1969, we've been teaching this truth, man. This fits you, right? Read on.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold.
You shall be what?
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
You shall be sold unto your enemies, man. Somebody pull me up. Somebody pull me up who participated, what banks participated in transatlantic slave trade. Somebody pull me that, pull that information. Baba Kashah. Right? Now, the transatlantic slave trade was lucrative. Right? It wasn't an individual effort. It wasn't just a couple Europeans with a couple paddle boats that put 2 or 3 black people on there and rolled them behind to America. That's not how it was done. Right? It was cargo, grand cargo ships that they packed thousands of hundreds of black people onto. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to take a collective effort. Can't do that by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So not only was the European involved, right, you also had other people involved in helping them out. So they all can get paid. And this is how one of the ways that they got paid. Right? You got that information for me?
I may, sir.
Nah, no sleep. Take your time. All right. They said they shall be sold, man. You know what I'm saying? That has never happened to the so-called Jewish man, man. He was never sold, right? So we got to see who fits this prophecy. Who was sold? All right. You got to sell them. You got to make some money. You know what I'm saying? Got to make that bread. Somebody got to build the ships. Somebody got to pay these slave masters they wages to sell across the ocean. All of that is money. All of that takes money, man. Somebody got to put the wood together, nail it together, put everybody. All of that takes bread, man.
God.
God, no sweat. For time's sake, I'll just say, you know what I'm saying? All of that was being funded by the so-called Jewish man. Making sure that you came here and being in bondage and being sold was funded by the so-called Jewish man. And the proof of it is how these banks were established in America. Majority of these banks are owned by Jewish men. And they established these banks through the transatlantic slave trade. Right? They was using these banks as insurance ploys. Right? They would bring these ships to the dock, you know what I'm saying? Making sure that they get their cut, making sure they get their funds, right? Now let's say just so happens somebody fall overboard, or you promised to bring 100 and only 50 came. You know what I'm saying? What they'll do, they'll go to these banks, write out a note. Right? I had 50 slaves, and uh, uh, I promised them 100, but now I only have 50 slaves. Or you write out a note that was handed over to you. You'll go and get it and make sure that your slaves are insured, and they'll pay you for all the missing slaves that you promised that landowner. They'll make sure that you get your money back, just like the insurance companies today, right? All these things was founded through the banking systems, through the insurance companies. All these companies was founded and funded by the so-called Jewish man through the transatlantic slave trade. You had that information for me in the shop?
So I got a small portion right here.
Get down, so.
The bank industry, the next time you make a bank deposit, consider this. You may be doing business with a financial institution that exists today because the bank and or the procedures bank benefited from slavery economics. And in 2005, J.P. Morgan and
Who?
Chase.
Hold on. In 2005, who?
J.P. Morgan.
Who?
J.P. Morgan.
Same bank. Now, like I said, we're not endorsing Kanye West. Neither do Kanye West endorse us. He's a jackass like any other wicked black leader. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you this, the brother's not as crazy as you think he is. He does have some points that he's bringing up. You know what I'm saying? And the same bank that dropped him and canceled his $1 million industry, the Yeezy industry, you know what I'm saying, is the same bank that benefited off of your black behind. Go ahead and read that for me, soldier.
In 2005, J.P. Morgan Chase and Company apologized for the involvement of two of its subsidiaries had in the slave trade.
Read that point one more time. Read that part one more time, Austin, the shot. My bad.
No sweat, sir. In 2005, J.P. Morgan Chase and Company apologized for the involvement two of its subsidiaries, yeah,
okay,
had in the slave trade. During the 19th century, Century Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana now part of J.P. Morgan, accepted slaves as collateral for loans to plantation owners in the South.
Come on, man. Come on. That was it, Officer Shot? I'm gonna just drop you there for time's sake, man. But that look at come on now. Come on now. I mean, you looking like this boy, good stuff on there, huh? If you want to break, go ahead, yeah, go ahead. But for time's sake, if you could just break out the, a good solid one for time's sake, my bad.
No stress,
if you want.
No, it's just gonna go for J.P. Morgan again.
Okay. God, so these people, right? These banks. God, go ahead.
The company also set up 5 million. No. Bank of America and Citibank are other banking organizations that have been cited for historic ties to slavery. While both trusts with Wachovia, before it was acquired by Wells Fargo, also have apologized for theirs. That's about it for a second.
Okay, you could drop that for time's sake, man. I employ everybody to look that up. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, y'all was Southside concert and missing property. He also said they apologize. How they do that? I ain't get a check. Did you? God, you apologize? Sorry, that's all I get. Apologize. And it was even an individual or a formal apology. You know what I'm saying? They sent no letter through my mail saying I know you're a descendant of the slave. Here's $1,000, $2,000, $200,000 or something like whatever, millions that they owe us. You know what I'm saying? They ain't sorry for what they did, man. You know what I'm saying? Because this is funded all by these banks who's owned by Jewish men. J.P. Morgan owned by Jewish men. You know what I'm saying? They was not being sold, man, but they was doing the selling. They the one that was doing the selling. They was selling black bodies, man. Black babies, man. They was funding these ships. All to make sure you don't find out who you are, man. And they keeping this lie alive till this day. That's why they dropped Kanye West from his contract or his bank account with J.P. Morgan, man. Because listen, they didn't drop him when he came out with White Lives Matter, right? When he had that T-shirt on saying White Lives Matter, we was the only ones that spoke against that, man. They still banked with him. But as soon as he said black people are the Jews, that's when they dropped him. They dropped him from his bank account. Now he got to take all those millions out of his bank account and try to, put it somewhere else so he can continue with his business, man.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? This is the hypocrisy of this place, man.
And if I may, sir.
Go ahead, soldier.
Like to have a business, you are required to have a bank account. He can't say he got millions at the crib or something for nothing like that. You got to have a bank account in order to have a business, to register as a corporation. You have to have a bank account. So they trying to jam him up, sir.
God, you see that, man? All because he said he was a Jew. Now that's anti-Semitic. If you ask me, what they doing is anti-Semitic.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I don't know how many millions he got, but it might be smart if he go start his own bank. You only white people start banks with only like a few 5 million or what, you know what I mean? And then they get like insurance to cover, whatever gonna happen in the bank. So if he was smart, he would just take the money and go start his own bank. And let all, but see, we know he ain't there. But I was gonna say, all black people come and do business at his bank. You know what I'm saying?
God, you exactly right, boy. You're exactly right, man. Yeah, listen, he need to drop that off in the ICPK, pay his tithes. You know what I'm saying, for learning that he's a Jew. You know what I'm saying, and pay homage to the priests and prophets of the Lord who risked their life for this. We ain't got millions. You know what I'm saying? We risking everything, family, friends, and all of that, just to speak this word, man.
Okay.
We been canceled, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Cause we got to know who we are, man. Our life depend on it, man. So for the last verse, for time's sake, let me get Revelations 2:9. If you can grab me that, I'm gonna let Trooper Canuck grab that, and then Officer in the Shock, if you can grab me Songs of Solomon 1-5.
Okay.
It said they say Officer Yawasop said they say he's worth several billions. It's cool. He'll go on TV and say we Israel, but we need to give Commander Jenny that 10%. Damn right. You know what I'm saying? Commander Jenny will put used to it. Right? If you listening, Kanye West, I'm sure he probably, he be sneaking in. I'm sure he be sneaking in. He be watching a couple classes from Commander Jenny watching General Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? Don't think these entertainers don't be viewing y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all brothers put hella work, man. Y'all word is not going in vain, man. Y'all work is not being done in vain, man. You know what I'm saying? We pray for this. You know what I'm saying? Open up the airways, the cable access channel, the internet. You know what I'm saying? We want our people to know who they are. You know what I'm saying? But they all have to understand that to properly practice and come to your culture, you have to do it under Commander Jenny. Knowing you are Israelite and living like one is two different things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So you got that for me, Trooper Canuck? If you still on.
Kind of one kind, sir. I'm here.
God, get down, boy.
All right. Book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation.
Listen, the Lord said he knows our works, our tribulations, things that we go through day by day in the ghetto, man. I think not too long ago, I think a couple days ago, Isupk brother got shot by the police in the head or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of the fast food restaurant, cop just opened the door and shot this brother, man.
Yeah.
This is happening unto us, man.
Okay.
Read on.
And poverty.
And poverty, man. We don't own nothing, like y'all brothers brought out. We don't even own the neighborhood that we selling drugs on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The neighborhood that we beef with the next nigga with, we don't even own that neighborhood. The Jewish man can come and raise your rent and wipe all of y'all out of the neighborhood. Then what hood are you gonna rep then? You don't really know who your op is, man. Your op is not your brother, man. It's mistaken identity is the reason why we killing each other. It's because we don't know our culture. We don't know who we come from. We don't value ourselves enough. Is why we doing what we doing to each other, man. But if we teach us right, guess what? You can empower black people to do better. Because you are the real Jews. Read on.
But thou art rich.
Thou art rich. What makes us rich? It's not because of the money in your pocket. It's not because Kanye West got millions and Oprah got millions and Jay-Z got millions. That's not what makes us rich. What makes us rich? Help me out, Austin the Shop.
Colonel Khan, being chosen by the Most High.
Damn right.
Colonel Khan.
Damn right, man. That's what makes us rich, man. The blood that flows through your veins, man.
Yeah.
Being chosen by God. Read on.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
Hold on. There is a people on this earth that is known to be the Jews. And it's not your black behind, right? Nobody's coming up to you and calling you a Jew.
Right.
Right? They know you as black. They know you as African American. They know you as Haitian, Puerto Rican. Right? So this is talking about a specific people who's on this earth claiming to be a Jew. Now, when they see them walking around with the tassels and the all black on and a top hat, they know that that's a Jewish man. But the Bible just said that the people that's calling themselves to be a Jew, guess what? It's blasphemy, man. Meaning it is a lie against God, man. Read on.
And are not.
And are what?
And are not.
Guess what? They not. That's why it's a lie against God. It's not true. It's not true. The DNA don't prove it. The history, the ancestry don't prove it. And guess what? The Bible don't prove it neither.
Okay.
Read on.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
They what?
Are the synagogue of Satan.
That's who they are, man. You know what I'm saying? They only a devil will sell black bodies just to build up a bank or some insurance company. Only a devil would do that, man. And lie to you for thousands of years. Only a devil will raise up the property of the hood, the little that you got in this damn hellhole. Raise the property rent. Build some stadium on top of your house. Just so he can make himself rich, man. And lie to you all in the process, man. This is why we call him the devil.
Right.
Because what he done on this earth, man, is all against God, man. Even calling himself a Jew. Right? You got that from me, Austin the Shock, the last one, Songs of Solomon.
The Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. I am black.
Whoa, Solomon is what?
I am black.
Now, is it Solomon the son of David?
Okay.
Now, David come from the house of what? Judah, right?
Okay.
Now, if Jew is the short for Judah, wouldn't that make David a Jew?
Right.
And Solomon being the son of David, he's a Jew also.
Okay.
Well, guess what? What did he say about himself? Read that one more time.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and 5. I am black.
Guess what? The real Jews are black, man.
Most High Christ.
They black, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. Like, how did they get away with this, Lashak? How did they get away with this, man? Think about it. In 1948, they was coming through with the Torah and the Tanakh and said, look, I'm a Jew. And nobody read this. Nobody said, hold on, let me read Songs of Solomon 1 and 5 to see if this talk about you. Nobody said that. How did they get this? Is the biggest, the greatest lie on this earth, man. They got away with murder, man. And you don't even know. All right? Any more on that, Austin the Shot?
Songs of Solomon, chapter 1 and 5. I am black, but comely. O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
Oh, you daughters of what?
Jerusalem.
Of Jerusalem, Israel, man. He said he's black but beautiful. Listen, that is a statement that we've been making since the 60s. Am I wrong? Tell me now. Trooper Kanak as well. We're right. Since the 60s, we've been doing that.
Okay.
Marching down the streets. Black is beautiful, free Huey. And it will be free. We all say that's what it was doing during the 60s, man. Well, guess what? It was recorded in the Bible thousands of years ago before we made that statement today. You know why? Because the Jews has always been black, even in the time of Solomon, man. So with that, man, we're going to end the class. The water, everybody that came through. Big up Austin the Shot. Not everybody in the chat, man. Big up to all of y'all. Shit, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Oh, go ahead, Soldier. Go ahead, my bad.
No, it's water to you, sir. Water to you.
Ah, man, listen, man, you already know what I'm going to say, man. You know what I'm saying? But listen, it's because of y'all brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all brothers is the one that's bringing this truth out, man. Y'all holding down these classes and putting in this work and risking everything, man. Listen, I done seen y'all brothers, you know what I'm saying, go through hell and back for this truth, including you, Austin the Shot. You know what I'm saying? Trooper Kanak, Officer Yawasop, Officer Rayala. You know what I'm saying? All y'all brothers went through hell and back for this truth. And guess what? It's all for the purpose for brothers and sisters to wake up who they are, man. You know what I'm saying? Brothers like Kanye West is able to get the truth because of y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? So y'all brothers are doing a hell of a job and keep it doing for our king, Yahweh Shah, man. So with that, man, you last words, anything else, man? I'm out of here. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shah Thumb. Yahweh Shah Shah. Can't go. My bad.
No, I was just saying, Yahweh Shem Yashabakta.
Most High cry.
Okay. That's it, sir.